All right, welcome back in. Week 3 of the Coach Joel Taylor Show here at Jefferson's Restaurant in beautiful Carrollton. Alongside Coach Taylor, Matt Skinner here with you for another week. And Coach, tough one this past week on the road. First conference game, first long road trip. And I tell you what, I know you're going to be upset with the loss no matter what, but I was just so proud of the way that our kids fought. There was a couple different times that I think in that game where we could have easily rolled over and said, we're done, let's just get back and go. But there was three separate times we just kept fighting, despite some of the injuries that we had and despite a lot of different factors going into that game.
Yeah, that's the character of our team. You know, we're going to fight. We're going to fight to the end. I think you got a chance to see it in the Sanford game when we came back that second half. But we can't put ourselves in those type of situations. You know, we got down 14-0, which is a tough hole to get out of. You know, it really was. And, defensively, I thought we did a good job of getting some stops. And we called and fight to get back in the game. 10 minutes left in the game. It's 24-17, and then, finally it kind of hit us. The attrition kind of hit us a little bit. A little bit of injuries and things of that nature hit us a little bit. But Abilene Christian was a good football team. They really were. I think they'll be, one of the teams that's going to fight for the, conference championship when we take it when it's all done.
A lot of positives still to take away from this one, though, Coach. And we'll start on the offensive side, still able to get over close to 400 yards of offense. And had Quincy Casey really step up and show us what he could do. I mean, just thrown into the fire, and he goes out there and does pretty well in his first start. Or really a start because Davin only played the first 3 series.
Yeah. I'll be honest, Davin got hurt on the first series. I think it might have been a third or fourth play. He had got hurt. We messed the protection up a little bit. And then defensive lineman got back there and kind of, got him a little bit. But I think I told everyone, I said, one of the toughest decisions I had to make was as a head coach, was naming that starting quarterback. And I think now y'all got a chance to actually see that. Davin is a really good quarterback, but Quincy is as well. And everybody got a chance to see that. I'm so proud of him. Coming in and do what he did, threw 2 touchdowns, probably threw the ball a little bit too much, but it was because he was behind. He had 34 attempts. We want to keep that down in that, at 30, 26 range, because we want to run that football. And the one thing we wasn't able to do was run the football, take a little bit of pressure off of Quincy. But they were big up front. They did some things up front that gave us some problems. But I'm super proud of him, and I'm super proud of, we probably get to it later, but when you're talking about Dylan Gary, that was another bright spot, man. So just super proud of Quincy and what he was able to do when he got in there.
Well, defensively, you were able to get some big stops and give yourself a chance to stay in the game. We saw Abilene last week go over 600 yards. They got close to I think they got right at 500 this past week, 499. But had 3 or 4 straight 3-and-outs there and gave yourself a chance. I mean,
yeah, we did, man, and we actually won the turnover battle. That's the one thing I'm proud of our team as well. We're not, committing a lot of penalties. I think we had 6 penalties for 62 yards, and then we were +1 in the turnover ratio. So the defense is then going to do some things to, help us, but we're doing some things to hurt us as well. We felt like the first 21 points was all self-inflicted. We got to get better in that aspect, but we do have a group of individuals on that defense side of the ball that loves to play the game. They truly love to play the game, and so you see them playing hard. But now we got to play smart. We got to play disciplined. And I think anytime you lose, you grow from that loss, right? And I am so excited to see our guys come out this Tuesday, rocking and rolling, and to get them a chance to see them on Saturday and see how much we improved.
Special teams wise, I think Riley Mason did a great job for you guys. I know we don't like to talk about the punter, but whenever he had that opportunity, he flipped the field pretty good for you, and got a turnover on the special teams unit, filling the punt.
We did, man. We did. Hey, Riley Mason is a weapon. He really is, man. And he's the one that kind of sparked everything. I don't know if you remember, man. He hit a booming kick, and it got down inside of the 5. Right? So now the defense gets out there, they stop them, and now that gives us an opportunity to score. So we pushed the ball down the field. I think we got, we got a 4th and 1 And then we went for the same play, but we got a holding call that pushed us back. And we can't do that. We got to be better in the red zone. But we were able to get 3 points out of that because of Riley, man. But Riley's a true weapon. He's a defensive guy, favorite. That's my favorite. That's my guy. You know what I mean? He gets his own seat on the bus, too. I just hope you know that.
Hey, that's important.
Hey, no doubt.
You get the punter his own seat on the bus.
Hey, he's a weapon. He's part of the defense.
There you go. Coach Taylor, continuing talking about this past week's loss, 38-24 to Abilene. 24-hour rule gone. You watched the film. Before we put that to bed, I guess what was your biggest kind of takeaway to use going forward from this loss?
Yeah. Anytime, we won the first game, which was awesome, man. It was awesome. We did a lot of great things, right? But it's hard to learn from a loss. From a win. It really is, right? When you make those type of mistakes versus a good football team, they're going to expose you on the mistakes. And anytime you lose, and I told the guys after the game, all sickness is not death, right? What we got to do is we got to build our immune system. You know what I mean? So we got to build our immune system and get better from this loss, and I think we really will. Everybody knows, like, hey, if we just do this, we'll be fine, right? We got enough talent. I think we got enough heart. Now we just got to be disciplined in those moments to win those type of football games versus really good football teams.
I'm super proud, and I know Wolf Nation is as well, as the way our guys fought and stayed in that game. And it was late. It was late over here. It was near midnight. I know y'all felt it getting back Sunday morning early, but there's no rest for the weary.
Nah, man, and it was definitely a late game, and just being our first road trip, I thought the guys handled it really, really well for the most part. We had to, anytime it's a late game, man, that whole Saturday is like, man, like, when are we going to play? When are we going to play? We're going to play. But I thought the trip went really, really well. I think our DFO, Taylor Shields, did a phenomenal job, getting our guys in, a comfortable position. And, I can't wait to kind of see what this trip holds as well, right? We got one road travel under our belt. All right, now we're used to it now. So let's go out and go play.
And Eastern Kentucky looms here this Saturday, 6 o'clock kick, a little bit early kickoff for us, so that's nice. And we'll take our first time out, and when we come back, we'll take some fan questions here at Jefferson's for the Coach Joel Taylor Show. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back into Jefferson's. Appreciate the great crowd here, as always. They do a great job here, and our great servers. We can't thank them enough. We're getting into our second segment here on the Coach Joel Taylor Show. Time to take our fan questions. So, fans, if you got a question, raise your hand, and Jared Bogus will get to you and ask it.
Hey, Coach, after 2 games, what impresses you most about our team, and what are the areas you feel like we need to improve on the most?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's a great question. I'm gonna go with the areas of improvement first, right? I'm a coach first, but the area of improvement is just discipline, and consistency. In that last game, we had a couple drop passes where we could extend it drives, we can score the touchdown, things of that nature. Defensively, we got to do a great job of tackling. We got to do a great job of not blowing coverages or MAs and things of that nature, right? So we got to be disciplined, and we got to be a little bit more consistent from that standpoint, right? But at the end of the day, we're still a young football team. Now, the things that I'm seeing, right, I'm seeing a group of young men that loves to play the game. I see a group of young men that's going to fight, claw, right to the very end. And we got a tough football team. We got a good football team. So I'm just like I said, I'm just truly excited to see how we continue to grow as a football team. Oh, this is going to be a tough question.
I know her.
So, Coach, I saw the Wolves get banged up this weekend, and we got a short turnaround going to Eastern Kentucky. What's your plan to get those guys healthy for the upcoming game?
Well, my plan is make sure we get schematically correct. Now, Mr. Ryan Smith, our trainer, he better get him right. He better do his job. But we had practice yesterday. Usually practice on a Sunday. We want to get rocking and rolling. We want to move pretty fast. We slowed some things down. We knew some guys were banged up. Wanted to give them, at least 2 days to kind of recover. So Tuesday, I expect those guys to be ready to go. We did lose some guys as far as from the injury, like the true injury bug. They won't be back next week. But for the most part, we should be fine going into the game on Saturday.
Any questions? Perfect time. There we go.
Another tough one. Looked like we got beat in the trenches some. What do we do about that?
Well, that's recruiting. But what we face is a big, experienced, good team. At the end of the day, I think we are probably just as good, but they have a little bit more experience on us. So they got a little bit more experience, and then we got to get in the weight room and things of that nature. But I don't think we lost it. Just from a man-to-man standpoint, I think we kind of lost it. Abilene up front did a lot of movement stuff. So once the offensive line see that, understand that, got beat with it the first time, I expect us to get better. Defensive line, I thought we held our own. I think, we could have done a little bit better job as far as, the little things of spilling blocks, right? They rush for some yards on the counter, things of that nature, where, we're boxing where we should be spilling. Those are some of the mistakes I say, we got to be consistent. We got to be more disciplined in doing, spilling the ball out and like that. But I do think we should have got a little bit more pass rush. I do think we have some talented five techniques. I think we are talented up front as well. I mean, in the middle as well. But that was the only thing. I don't think they just beat us up front like that. But they do have a good offensive line. I think they have one of the better offensive line that we will face this year. And that's the God honest truth right there. I thought they were really good up front. But I don't think we just truly lost the battle. I just think it's more about the experience piece that got us.
Those guys were pretty massive.
No, they're big now. They were
pretty.
big.
They were pretty big.
They were big.
Just wanted to get an update on Widener and see how he's doing, how he's progressing since he went out early in the game for us on Saturday.
Yep. Well, Davin's fine. He landed on his shoulder, and it didn't feel good in the game. It really didn't. But he toughed it out for 2 more series. We probably should have pulled him after that first series, but he toughed it out. If we need Davin to play, he'll play. Right now it's all about getting him healthy, getting him 100%. Right now, we're probably thinking Quincy's probably going to start versus Eastern Kentucky. But if we need Davin be ready to go.
Hey, Coach, can you comment on travel this week? When y'all will leave and what your travel schedule will be?
Yeah. So, we will actually leave on Friday. We're going to leave around, I think, about 8 a.m. We'll have our meetings and walk through before we leave. And we'll always do that for every road trip. All right, we'll always meet and then walk through at our facility. But we'll get on the road about 8 o'clock. I think we're going to stop in Knoxville, eat a little bit of lunch, and then we're going to end up in Lexington, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll get up there about 4:30, 5 o'clock on Friday, and then we'll go through our normal routine like we normally do. We'll start with a special teams meeting. We'll have our dinner, and then we go unit meetings, and then we do a devotion at the end. So guys, curfew is about 9:30, and then we'll get up that next morning, have a little breakfast or brunch around that 10 o'clock range. Gives the guys some time to kind of watch a little bit of college game day. Then we'll get those guys probably back up about 1 o'clock, I would think. 1 o'clock, we're going to have, positional meetings. And then from there, we start our true pregame routine, walkthroughs, unit meetings, and we'll eat pregame meal. And then we'll head to the stadium. And we usually always arrive at the stadium 2 hours before the game. Now, the trip back, oh, man, we're going to be asleep on the trip back. I can tell you that. We're going to be asleep.
Any final questions for Coach Joel Taylor? All right. Thank you, fans, for your questions. Go ahead and start thinking up some for next week and get ready for a win over the Colonels this week. And we'll talk about the Colonels of Eastern Kentucky here in just a moment on our third segment. We'll be right back from Jefferson's right after this. All right, welcome back in, everyone, here at Jefferson's in Carrollton. Our third and final segment, we talk about the Eastern Kentucky Colonels in Game 3. Wolves coming in 1-1 off a loss last week to Abilene Christian. Coach, we're going to right the ship this week and get ready to beat Eastern Kentucky. First off, we saw last week, I think they played a pretty good Western Kentucky team, usually Western Kentucky has a good football program, and fell, 31-0, yep. I think it was short. So what did you see a little bit on offense, if anything, from Eastern Kentucky last week?
Eastern, man, and I don't know if you know, that Eastern Western, that rivalry, that's a huge rivalry, man. So, but honestly, from an offensive perspective, the first thing that I see is, them up front. They're big up front. They got a really good tackle. I think number 74. I can't remember his name. He was preseason All-Conference. Last year he was All-Conference. But I think he's actually an All-American as well. So really good player on the edge, number 74. And then they got some experienced guys coming back. So 4 of their 5 offensive line starters are coming back. So they got some experience up front. And then, when you talk about running back, number 8, number 14, I think number 8's a really good player. They bust a couple runs on Western Kentucky. They really did. They found the crease, bust a couple runs. And then I think they got an all-conference tight end as well. I think he wore number 16 last year, but now he's going to wear number 3. Good player, more of a pass catcher than a blocker. And then they got a quarterback. They got a transfer from, I think it's Southern or Western Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. So they got some weapons. We got to do a good job of keeping the ball in front of us. Got to do a good job of stopping the run. I think that team wants to run the football. If I had to say, percentage-wise, I think it's more 65-70 run versus pass. So they're going to try to run the football versus us, and we got to do a good job of stopping that and keeping the ball in front of us as far as in the passing game. Good football team, always been. I think Walt Wells did a really good job. That's their head coach. Does a really good job. Last year, I think they went 5-6, but I think, probably 4 of their losses were by, less than 3 points or something like that. So you're talking about a dang old team that's was very competitive in our United Conference. So they're a good football team from an offense standpoint.
And you're playing at their place too.
Yep, and they dying for a victory now. They're 0-2 right now. They played Mississippi State first game. They played Western Kentucky the second game. So what they're probably thinking is, well, we played 2 FBS schools. That's why we're 0-2. Now we get back home. Now we get little old West Georgia, right? And let's go get that first victory. So we're gonna spoil their plans a little bit. They're gonna be a little bit heartbroken, but yeah.
The Colonels defensively, what are we looking at for alignment for them?
Yeah. So they'll mix a little bit from some 3 down, 4 down, but majority 4 down stuff. Big time 1 high team. If it's man-to-man coverage, if it's cover 3, personnel-wise, up front, I would say their edges are probably the better players than the interior guys. Linebackers, they're solid. They do have an all-conference DB. I think his number is number 2, if I'm not mistaken. It's not number 2 or number 12. But good player. He plays the field safety for them. But they got a solid defense. Like I said, the whole Western Kentucky, which is always explosive on offense, to 31 points. That just shows you some of the things that they can do. But I'm excited to see our offense get out there and score some points. All right, we got to establish that run and throw some deep balls down that field.
I know you definitely don't want to, especially Quincy coming out through close to 40 times last week, or threw over 40 times. So I know you want to try to establish that running game. What's the message been to the offensive line this week to try to, let's get a little run game going, go fast? Yeah,
and they know we want to run the ball. They know that, the offensive line. We just got to be better at executing, at the end of the day, But like I said, we're going to learn from that last game, and I think they're going to be way better. I really do, So I know Coach Austin Davis right now is in there scheming Eastern Kentucky up, right? But we got to go out there and execute. But I'm excited to kind of see how we show up, right? We got punched in the mouth. Now we got to get back up, dust ourselves off, and go out here and get a victory.
I know the specialists out there that know me would be upset if I didn't ask about their specialists. So tell us a little bit about Eastern Kentucky and their punter, kicker, long snapper, their teams.
No doubt. So they do have a really good kicker. The kicker was actually, voted all conference. So the coaches in our league think enough of them to vote him all conference player. So they do have a good kicker. I'm not sure about the punter yet. But I know they get in range. They're probably getting that range for, that 48, 49, 50. He can probably nail it. So we got to do a good job of keeping him away from that 32-yard range as far as on the field. So that's probably where his kick line is at.
Well, turnovers were a big story in the game, positive for us last week, and obviously hoping for the same. I know you can't just create turnovers, right? The other team has to screw up in order for that to happen, but how can you help assist assist the other team in screwing up?
Hey, well, the first thing is we got to change the name from turnovers to takeaways.
Takeaways. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
We got to go take the ball away. And our mentality or our philosophy is if the ball's in the air, go get it. Right? If the ball carrier has the ball, that is our ball. Let's go take it. So it's all about a mentality when you're talking about, turnovers. And, the last 2 years, I don't know if, at Mercer, we was, top 20 in the nation in turnovers. And we were top, I think, 5 the last 2 years in interceptions. Just continue to preach, takeaways and just having that mentality and continue to grow in that aspect. And, takeaways is recruiting as well. That's what it is, recruiting as well. Because at the end of the day, man, like a guy that can go for the ball, right, and still be able to make a tackle and things of that nature, that's special. That's special. That's something that can be taught, but, you want a guy that can naturally go in there and do those type of things, but still make the tackle while going for the ball, or when that ball's in the air, having the ball skills to go up there and snatch it.
Well, Coach, any final thoughts you want to add before we get you out of here here in week 3 of the Coach Joel Taylor Show?
I'm just excited to see the fans here that continue to support us. I'm excited to see our football team get out here on Saturday and bounce back. Okay, bounce back, and I know we will. Like I said, we got a whole bunch of guys that are hungry. We had a leadership meeting today, man. It was an excellent leadership meeting today. So I know our guys are going to come back and respond. But I am proud of our football team. I'm excited about our football team. Appreciate you guys continuing to support us, and we're going to make you proud.
Thank you, Coach Taylor. Don't forget, you can find us on UWG Athletics on all platforms. We'll have kickoff at 6. We'll go live at 5 on the radio broadcast. You can watch on ESPN Plus. So make sure you find a way to support Coach Taylor and the Wolves this week. We'll be back next Monday right here, same time, same bat channel. So come out and tune in and support Coach Taylor and our great Wolves. Thank you so much. We'll see y'all next week.